Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing my April wrap up. So in terms of videos that I did this month, I did a lot of like Friday reads and TBRs. By a lot I mean 2 out of the 4 videos that I made. And so I'm just going to direct you guys to the other 2 videos that I made this month. The first one was a book review of The Language of Secrets by Asma Zainab Khan. This is the second book in a detective mystery series that follows Detective Katak, who is a Muslim man in Canada. I talked about it a little bit in last month's wrap up and then I did a full review on it, so you guys can check that out if you haven't already. And then the other video I want to point you guys to is my Dewey's 24-hour readathon wrap up. In order to save time on this video, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the books that I read during the readathon. I'm not going to go into deep detail about my feelings on them because I did it in that video, so that'll just save me some time here. So the first book that I finished this month was Blackwater Rising by Attica Locke. This is her first novel that she ever published, and this is the second book that I have read by her. In Blackwater Rising, you are following this lawyer named Jay Porter who basically gets involved in this murder that happens. But more than that, the story kind of just follows Jay Porter's life as he's kind of just disappointed with where he's at as a lawyer. He's not really able to provide the way he would like for his wife and soon to be coming child. And so you are just following that as well as all of the complications about his like past life, things like that. I like this book. I didn't love it. I like The Cutting Season a lot more than I like this one. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It's still a strong mystery novel, but it's not the best. You can definitely tell it's a first novel. I still think that Attica Locke writes mystery novels that are cut above the general like mystery novel genre. So if you are someone who is a fan of the genre, I definitely recommend picking up her books. The next book that I finished was Lafayette in the Somewhat United States by Sarah Vowell. Sarah Vowell is a nonfiction writer who focuses on American history, and she writes these really great, relatively short books on a whole bunch of different topics. I have a bunch of her books right here, and so this one follows Lafayette, which I think is a really great compliment to the fact that Hamilton is just, you know, everywhere right now. And so if you are obsessed with Hamilton or the story of the founding fathers at the moment because of Hamilton, I think that this would be a great one to pick up. It's not my favorite Sarah Vowell book, but it still has her like dry wit and her asides that relate to her own personal excursions while she's out like researching all of these different men. It's pretty short. It's less than 300 pages, so if you're someone who likes Sarah Vowell, like American history, definitely one worth picking up. The next book that I finished was The Marriage Bureau for Rich People by Faraha Hazama. I talked about this quite a bit in my Friday Reads video actually, so I'm going to link to that even though I said I wasn't going to. This book was just sort of like a light, fun read. If you are someone who likes sort of light quote-unquote chick lit type books, this one would be worth picking up. You are following this man named Mr. Ali who is basically retired, and he is pretty bored in his retired life, so he decides to set up a marriage bureau, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a company that, you know, does matrimonial type services. This story does take place in India, so that explains a little bit of it, and I think this book does a really good job of talking about Indian marriage customs from a wide range of backgrounds, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, but this book is just sort of like light, fluffy, beach reading, don't have to think too hard about it type of book, which was exactly what I wanted when I picked this book up. So it definitely fulfilled that need for me, but I don't know if I would necessarily highly recommend it. If you just want something that is light and fun and fluffy, then this is definitely one worth picking up. But I mean, it is pretty predictable and there's nothing, you know, overwhelmingly great about it. The next book that I finished was The Story of My Teeth by Valeria Lucelli. This is a really short book. I read this in like one sitting on a Friday night while I was babysitting. The baby was already asleep, so I had the whole night to read. This book is super strange and weird and kind of difficult to talk about, so I'm going to be doing a full review on it so I can kind of go more into depth on this one. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it. I wasn't super crazy about it. This feels like a book that's getting a lot of hype from like the literary world, and there's a reason for it. It's because Valeria Lucelli is kind of like a modern artist, and so she worked with these men who work in this factory in Mexico to sort of put this novel together, although that isn't something that's apparent when you're reading the story itself. It's something that I only realized afterwards by reading the notes and sort of doing some basic research on the book after I had read it. The story itself is really interesting. You are following this man who later on in his life decides to become an auctioneer and then sort of becomes obsessed with collecting teeth from famous people or teeth from famous people. It's not exactly clear how authentic that is, but you're just following him as he's telling this story, and there's a lot more going on in the story than you originally think that there is. As you continue reading on, more and more is revealed and you sort of figure out what exactly is happening in this story. It's really, really interesting, and again, I want to talk about this a lot more, so I'm going to be doing a whole separate review on this book. And then after that, I was basically Dewey's 24-hour readathon, so just to go over really quickly what I read during the readathon, I got through Batgirl Volume 2, Gotham Academy Volume 2, Stars Above by Marissa Meyer, and Signs Preceding the End of the World by Yuri Herrera. Again, I'm going to point you guys to my Dewey's 24-hour readathon wrap-up so you guys can get more details on all of those books and my thoughts on them, but this one specifically was my favorite for sure. I'm going to be doing a full review on this book as well because this was fantastic. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm so glad I finally read it. I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. Now I understand why. So yes, full review of this one coming in May as well. So that was basically my April, relatively quiet except for Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I am currently in the middle of 3 books technically. I'm reading The Gene by Siddhartha Mukherjee, which is good but not great. I think I'm like a 4th of the way through. It comes out in May, and so I'm hoping to finish it before it comes out. I also picked up The Sympathizer, which won the Pulitzer Prize. I got the ebook copy from the library because it was available, and so I decided to pick it up to check it out because I had heard relatively good things about it and it was kind of on my radar already. And then when it won the Pulitzer, I decided to just pick it up from the library. That book is relatively slow going, and I put that book down because I was able to finally get The Queen of the Night by Alexander Chee from my library. So I started it and immediately fell in love with it. As of this recording, I'm about 170-ish pages into this like 500 plus page book, so I still have a little while to go. If there's any indication to how I started the book, I have a feeling I will be done with this before the weekend's out. I'm really, really enjoying it, and there's a very strong chance that I'm going to do a review of this book as well in May. So if you have been paying attention, you realize that I just said I was going to do 3 book reviews in the month of May. May is my booktube anniversary month. I started making videos in the middle of May in 2012, I want to say. So it's coming up on my 4-year anniversary, and so I decided that I was going to do a week of videos in the middle of May. I haven't planned out what all of the videos are going to be, and there's a very good chance I'm just going to do like 5 videos because I have to do 2 for book riot, so I feel like with that I will have a total of 7. So 3 of them are going to be book reviews, and I will figure out what the other 2 are at some point, hopefully. Definitely leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite read was this month. If I had to pick one, it would probably be Signs Preceding the End of the World, although Queen of the Night is definitely a contender as well. But I haven't finished that one yet, so we'll see how it goes. Also, if you're interested, there are social media links down in the description as always. If you want to follow me on Goodreads, you can see what I end up thinking of Queen of the Night before I post another video about it if you are that anxious. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.